welcome back to my channel. So today is Wednesday, September 28th. Tomorrow is the 9th, and then Friday, Hocus Pocus 2 comes out. Oh, I'm a second, hold on. Hocus Pocus 2 comes out. So I remember the first time I watched Hocus Pocus 1 was like years ago. And I think it was like back in 2008. Sometime around that, maybe earlier. And I remember I asked my mom at the end of the movie, is there a sequel? Is there another one? And she's like, no. But they left it open. And she's like, well, they might do it someday. Because it wasn't that far off when I watched it from when it originally came out. Kind of. But they never did. And then all of a sudden, 2022 rolls around and they're like, yeah, let's do a sequel. So my mom and I are going to be watching it on Friday. I'm leaving work early. You guys know I love Halloween. And so I'm very excited for this. We have all of our Hocus Pocus stuff. We even have a Binks. Are you my Binks? We need to watch Hocus Pocus tonight so you know what's up. But we need some snacks. So I'm editing. I'm going to be filming this, editing, and posting it. I'm going to be filming and editing today and posting tomorrow. Today we're going to be baking cupcakes, cakes, and cookies and decorating them to be like Hocus Pocus. So I have cookie mix and brownie mix, but I don't have cupcake mix. So we're going to be making cupcakes from scratch, which I'm very excited for. And we have plenty of icing and decorating tools to do this with. So let's get started. As you guys know, I went to Disney. I haven't finished uploading those videos yet, but here's a little sneak peek of a cup that I got. Yum. Okay, I'm going to first start off with getting the brownies done. Because once the boxed stuff is done, then we can start on the non-boxed. I'm also going to make ice cubes so that when we make our drinks on Friday, which I will just post a picture of, but I'm not going to film it. So all you need to do is put the brownie mix in, 4th cup water, 3rd cup vegetable oil, and 1 egg.
Okay, so this video is going up a little bit later than I thought it would. It's currently 11:19 and we're about to get this video uploaded. Oops. Anyways, so I start off with the Betty Crocker brownie mix, and then of course I put in the water, and then I go and put in the vegetable oil. So I'm just using regular vegetable oil. I'm just using regular vegetable oil. And, of course, using a measuring cup and putting that in. And then I go in with the egg. And then I get my trusty, spooky spoon thing. And, I mix it. My favorite thing about brownies is when you mix it, and I love watching it turn from like a powder to the liquid. I don't know why, but it's just so satisfying to me. I just absolutely love it. And also, I love the taste of brownies, and these were like the chocolate chunk brownies. So good. Just watch this most satisfying thing. Just look at that. It's just turning from powder to this like creamy substance. Magic. As you guys can tell, I am not a huge baker or really anything to do with the kitchen. I still have to get like the box stuff and follow recipes and stuff. And I mean, I do like it, but rather just, use DoorDash or something because I don't like to do dishes. But that's besides the point. So after I do that, I just put it into this pan. I preheated the oven to 350, and The reason that I didn't put it in right away is because I was also making the cookies at the same time, and that way the cookies that are also at 350 degrees can go in for their 10 minutes, as the brownies were going in for 30 minutes, so I just put them in together and then took the cookies out at 10 minutes and put the brownies back in for 20. It made sense in my mind, and it worked out perfectly, so it was fine. So as you can see here in a smaller bowl, I'm just taking the sugar cookie mix and I poured in the mixture and then the butter and egg. So there's actually not too much to this recipe. It's just half a stick of butter and 1 egg. It might be 2 eggs. I think it might be 2 eggs. I can't remember. You'll see. But these turned out so tasty. So tasty. I ended up leaving some bare without any icing just because they were so sugary too. I didn't want to overpower it. So that is why some of them, I don't show you any that aren't, but some of them will be blank. So I had to melt the butter a little bit because it was pretty hard to melt. And, it was just 1 egg. But it was pretty hard to mix together, so I ended up having to wait a little bit for it to soften. But eventually, I gave up using the spatula and just went in with my hands. Yes, they were clean. I freshly washed them before doing this. Don't worry. But I ended up just giving up and going with the good old hands, getting it really in there and mixing it up, doing the old-fashioned way. Always works the best. It's always really fun, It's just fun thing to do to get the dough going. I always remember when I was younger baking with my mom or my grandma, she would just dump the bowl and have it be a huge mess and then just dig your hands in it and I'd help her out. So that was always fun. This was very nostalgic to be doing this. I haven't made sugar cookies in a long time. Even just cookies I haven't made in a long time. So this was very fun to make, and next time I really want to make them from scratch. So next time let's make some cookies from scratch. That's what we did with the cupcakes because I thought that I had cake mix at home. Turns out I didn't, and I didn't want to go back to the grocery store, so I ended up doing it from scratch, and it was a lot easier than I thought it would be. So maybe we'll stop with the boxes and actually try. So I ended up getting some parchment paper and putting that onto the orange pan you can see there. And I think they're about like 2 inches. I made little dough balls and tried to put them at least 2 inches apart. But you guys know I'm terrible at math. So they were probably not even close to that. But they all turned out pretty fine. None of them were melted together in the end. So that's good. It worked out pretty well because usually every time I make cookies, they're always melted together in just one giant cookie, which, isn't the end of the world. But when you're trying to share them, it's a little bit hard. So I ended up putting them in the oven for about 10 minutes. The package says 10 to 12 minutes, but again, I just put them in for 10 minutes and they cooked perfectly, or I guess baked perfectly. Now I have a question for you. Why do cookies bake but bacon cook? Why do we bake cookies and cook bacon? I don't get it. But you can see here I tried to separate them. I also had another giant cookie pan that I put the rest of the dough on, so I didn't just make these ones. I had another pan that went in. Because I put the brownies on the bottom rack and the cookies on the 2 top ones. And obviously baked them. Now, I just want to make a quick little disclaimer. I am no way in any shape or form at all a cookie decorator whatsoever, or a cake decorator, brownie decorator. I am not a food decorator. I am a makeup artist, if that. And these, they were fun. And I'm sharing it with my family. They will definitely not win any awards. That's for sure. But my biggest mistake is I went to Walmart and got the cheapest kind of icing and decorating tools you can get. And I really should have gone to like Bulk Barn or somewhere that has more nicer ones. and maybe put a little bit more money into it to make them a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. But you know what? I think they turned out cute in the end, and we did it on a budget, and that's all that matters. And we're going to eat them. So maybe, you know what? You don't need to spend an arm and a leg because you're just going to be eating them in the end. So it's perfectly fine. It worked out. Yeah. Oh my voice is leaving with how many videos I'm filming and going to work constantly. By the end of this October, I'm not even going to have a voice at all. But yeah, so I just made the cookies and I ate a lot of the dough. Don't recommend that, but it was delicious.
Okay, so we have the cookies and the brownies in the oven. The cookies have 10 more minutes. The brownies we'll put back in for another 20 after this. So now we're going to work on the cupcake batter. So we need 1.5 cups all-purpose flour, teaspoons of baking powder, fine salt, 2 eggs, sugar, which is in here, butter, vanilla, which we got, and milk. So let's combine. So, skip that. So first we're going to put together the flour, the baking powder, and the salt.
For some reason, I forgot to film myself actually making the cupcakes. So basically all I had to do was combine the dry ingredients and then the wet ingredients in 2 separate bowls and gradually combine them while mixing them so that you don't overpower it. And once it became a batter, I put it into cupcake holders and baked it at 350 degrees for, I think it was like 10 minutes, 20 minutes? Oh, it was 15 minutes. And here I'm using those gel pens I was just telling you about and blocking most of the camera with my fuzzy sweater. Sorry about that. But as you can see, I wrote Mary in red because that is her color. And then I ended up taking my big black icing gel thing and writing Sanderson on it because I was just trying to fill up the cookie. Now I kind of regret putting Sanderson on it because it did not work out the way I thought it would. The name was too long for the size of the tip, and I made it too big, and it became a mess. But that's fine. The first cookie, I attempted to write Winifred on it. It ended up just being Winifred because the ED got smudged and basically aren't there anymore. And yeah, so all these cookies, they were definitely a learning curve. So we just moved on to the cupcakes because the cookies were really boiling my bubbles here. They were getting on my nerves. But they turned out cute in the end, and you'll see the pictures. So here I'm just taking some vanilla icing and food coloring. I'm taking 3 drops of the yellow, 2 drops of the red to make orange. It isn't exactly the orange I was going for, but it's what we got. And I just kind of wanted to add Winifred's hair-like idea. And I got one of those little frosting tips to be all fancy. Yeah, the cupcakes, they came out fancy. Those ones were the jam. And I just did a cute little swirl and put it in the fridge right away so that the icing would harden. I should probably cover them now. It's been 24 hours. Whoopsies. So I am just refilling it and getting it all down to the bottom because the next cupcake I cover in chocolate icing and put 2 dollops of the orange on it for Winifred's hair, of course. And then in blue gel icing, I write her name around the cupcake. And I took a teensy bit of the red icing, red gel pen, to dab on her lips so that it's a little cute Winifred with her name on it. This was probably one of my favorite cupcakes. Actually, no, I think that was my favorite cupcake. The plain orange, I did really like too, but this one I really liked because, it had the witch on it and her name, and it actually turned out with her name. So that was nice. And then the next cupcake, so you can see here I am writing her name. Okay, before I talk about the next cupcake, I want to talk about these gel pens. They were so runny. Like, I don't even understand. Maybe I got a bad batch, but anytime I used them, they were just so runny. They weren't gel at all. They weren't icing, and they were just like, anytime I squeezed it, it would just splatter all over the place of this like gross liquid. So finally, I just put it into the freezer for a little bit, and I was able to work with it a teensy bit. As you can see, I am like testing it before I put it on the cupcake. And as soon as I finish the cupcake, I put it in the fridge so that it can harden. Here I put the next cupcake, so we'll talk about that now, in vanilla icing, and took my black icing and kind of did Mary's hair just in black. I didn't add any purple. I wasn't feeling very confident in that yet. So I did her hair just because I did Winifred's hair, and then I wrote Mary underneath. I really liked how this one turned out. I also did Sarah, so we have Winifred, Mary, and Sarah with their hair on the cupcake. Yes, I started to eat the end. Okay, don't judge me. Here I'm just doing another one of the orange spirals. We had so many cupcakes, I was just trying to figure out designs. So I just did a spiral here, but I thought it'd be really cute to do them with the hair. And I was going to make different colored icing, but it was already 11 o'clock at night by the time that I finished doing that, and I just wanted to go to bed and finish this because I worked today and it was a very busy day. So yeah, that is why I kind of just did that. Plus, it's only me and my mom tomorrow, so it's fine. I'm probably going to actually bring some of these to work, though, because I doubt my mom and I are going to eat 24 cupcakes. So here I am just quickly testing it on the plate, and then I am taking the brownies and making the book. Now, these turned out a little bit like the book's cousin, but it still looked like a book. So it was pretty cool. So on the brownies, I just took the white icing gel pen and the black, made the spine of the book, and then just kind of did all the little designs on him. And I had these candy eyes, so I added the candy eye, and I made each book a little bit different just so I can play with it and have some fun, because that's all that matters, is that you have fun when you are doing this. That is exactly what you are supposed to do when you're baking. It's fun. It's experiments. I mean, like, unless you're a professional baker where you need to actually get it done properly. Other than that, it's fun. But I actually had a lot of fun doing this. It was kind of challenging and very frustrating, and I had icing all over the place. It took me like half an hour to clean it today because I did not bother doing it yesterday, which was also a bad mistake because it hardened overnight. Don't do that. Clean it up right away. But I had icing all over me, all over my kitchen, all over my floor, all over my cat. And you know what? In the end, it was a lot of fun, and I'm so proud with how they turned out, even though they are not what I was expecting them to turn out like. I had way higher expectations. Maybe next time I should lower that a little bit and keep practicing. But you know what? It's just another thing to practice, and I'm very excited, and we'll definitely be doing more, especially during the holidays. So here's what some of the brownies turned out like. We have way more. Some of the cookies, we wrote Binks, and we have the names and Hocus Pocus. And here's some of my favorite cupcakes, and that's all.